Shalom, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I'm just picking some of these lemons off the tree so that I can go ahead and allow the tree to be healed. When we leave our fruit on our trees for too long, it signals to the trees that they don't need to produce fruit, and it takes a strain on the trees' systems. So we want to take that fruit off and go ahead and utilize it in our homes. And we can let this tree start by healing. It's going to produce stronger roots. It's also going to be producing a lot more branches and leaves because there's no energy to put into the fruit anymore. And I can get inside and take all of these Meyer lemons and make Meyer lemon preserve. And I don't know if you folks ever had Meyer lemon preserves, but when you make the preserves, you want to use the peels also. This is very, very important to do. Shalom and welcome to the live stream. Okay, why am I here? A lot of you lately, for the past 3 months, know that I don't do a lot of videos on this channel. However, since many of you have showed up in abundance on my Instagram channel, I'm going to put some videos over here. Now, I do have some private classes coming up for many individuals that want to join, and many of you will be able to find that link in my bio, and you can join my private gardening classes. I want to focus on that right now because I really feel when it comes to gardening, there's a lot that people are missing. And I want to help people be able to reap what they sow. And part of reaping what you sow is sowing conscious seeds in people's mental garden. Everything starts from the heart first, not the muscle, but the heart first. And when we speak things into fruition, we manifest those very things. Okay? So these things are very important. I want to help many of you achieve what I've achieved in my own gardens in both places, the off-grid property and here. We've been very busy, me and my wife. We've been extremely busy. I'm so busy that I'm finding it difficult to navigate dealing with all the social media platforms and my own personal life and our properties. However, the people who join my gardening classes will get an exclusive, in-depth look this year at our property. So I'm going to show you how to grow food in abundance. I gave you folks a little sneak peek last year into a big farm, but I want to give you a little bit more in depth because I think that once you folks see things manifest before your eyes, then you start to envision your own abilities to duplicate what I've done. I'm not going to teach you how to grow food. I'm going to teach you how to fertilize your soil. And part of growing food is making sure your soil is fertile. Without fertility, let me give you an example. Listen, watch this. Let me give you an example. Okay? I'm going to walk out here. I want you folks to follow me out here really quick. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try and make sure I don't cause you folks to get real dizzy. Okay. Here we are. If me and Johnny grew the same food next door, do you folks know that our food would not have the same benefits? Let me explain it to you. Johnny comes out and he sprays his tree with organic fertilizers. Maybe he comes out and sprays it with synthetic fertilizers. And Johnny, he gets lemons, he gets broccoli, he gets apricots, he gets all of these things we talk about. But the problem here is Johnny his health keeps deteriorating. Why is his health deteriorating? I'll tell you that in a second. However, if I come out and I'm growing the same things as Johnny, but I don't treat my trees, I feed my soil, the soul of the plant. That's where the fertility starts. And when I take care of my soil, the plant's roots absorb those nutrients and I get these beautiful lemons. But what is the difference between Johnny's tree and my tree? Johnny's broccoli and my broccoli. Johnny leafy greens and my greens. Johnny's tomatoes and my tomatoes. The difference is if you take our food inside of a lab, the studies have been done, is that Johnny's food is not going to be nutrient dense. In order for Johnny to get the same nutrition as one of my tomatoes, he's got to eat 15 tomatoes. In order for Johnny to get the benefit, okay, of my lemon, he's got to eat 12 lemons. You understand? So a lot of people have been misdirected to believing that if they grow food, if they see fruit and they harvest that fruit, then their soil must be good. That is not true. 99%. I'm going to give you what the research says. It says 83%, but I'm going to go as high as to say 99.9% of gardeners, backyard gardeners, they do not do soil testing in their backyard. They talk about it because it's sweet to talk about it. But the truth is they don't do soil testing. For years, I've told people all they got to do is contact their local municipalities and ask them how much is a soil test. And you want to contact the agriculture department. They're in every state. Sometimes it's free. Other times it may cost you $50, maybe $150, maybe a little bit higher now because, well, things have changed in the last 4 years. But they come into your backyard and they test the soil in several different places. They'll test your trees. They'll test your containers if that's what you want. But the goal here is to test the soil to see if you have macro and micronutrients and minerals. These things are very, very important. And there must be a balance. If you're lacking nitrogen, you're lacking potassium, you're lacking, phosphorus, you're lacking these copper, manganese, iron, folate, zinc, these things can wreak havoc on your food. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't want to eat a lemon that's practically dead to me. I want to eat food that is live. So let me give you some inside information. When it comes to food, and you hear about that alkaline thing, there's no such thing as alkaline unless your soil is healthy. Listen again, alkaline does not exist unless your soil is healthy. And there are such things as foods that have a high pH, which means they have a higher alkalinity. I'm not telling you folks that alkalinity food are the best foods. What I'm trying to explain to you is that your body has the ability to alkaline everything you put in it. For instance, we're looking at this lemon right now. This lemon is acidic, but once it enters the body, it becomes alkaline. The body has this beautiful ability to alkaline everything. There's only one area in your body that is not alkaline, and that is your stomach acids. Okay? Now, remember this. The human body has a pH of 7.2 to 7.5, but your stomach has a pH, the acid in your stomach has a pH of anywhere between 1 and 3.2. It can literally dissolve anything. So do not get mixed up in the fact that you need to eat alkaline foods, because essentially all foods are alkaline, with the exception that some foods have a higher pH range. So we're going to be learning all of this in my gardening classes. And we're going to be learning how and what foods a particular person could take in order to put their autoimmune disease in remission. What works for someone with lupus may not work with someone with gout. What works with someone with hyperthyroidism may not work for someone with diabetes. You see, food is our medicines, but it don't stop here. We got to get deep into the soil. I'm going to share with you folks why it's not only important to eat food from your garden, but some days you're going to go out 2 to 3 times a day, and I want you to take your hands and your feet, and I want you to walk around through your garden. Let your feet connect to the earth. It's called grounding. Very important. This is how we did it as children growing up in Mississippi. We ran outside. We were happy children. We ran outside. There's another way to get rid of metals and toxins in the body. Is when you walk out in your garden and outdoors with your shoes off. Now, you can't walk everywhere like this, but we're talking about your garden, walking with your shoes off. You can get rid of toxins and metals that way. People don't know that, okay? I want you folks to come out 2 and 3 times a day, and I want you to take your hands and put it through your soil and massage the soil. And you want to do that for about 5 minutes at a time, okay? Meditation and just massage the soil. Basically, what I'm trying to have you understand is the largest organ on your body is your skin. That's the largest organ on your body. It absorbs everything. So I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm going to absorb anything, I want to absorb the minerals in my soil, especially when I'm out here inside the environment that could potentially be toxic, okay? I can walk in my garden in the winter. If you can, I don't see snow on my ground. If you got snow on your ground and you can stand the cold, of course you can walk in your garden in the winter. Absolutely. But that's up to you, to each his own, okay? Now, one of the things that I make sure I do constantly, and I'm gonna show you folks that right now. Let's turn this camera around, and I'm gonna walk out here towards this compost area. I got about several compost areas in my yard, and my goal is to come out here. Look at all those worms. Let me go ahead and turn this. Give me 1 second. This is my 45-gallon, I think it's 45. It's Brute, the company Brute Rubbermaid. You can get these from Home Depot, possibly Lowe's. This is 45. And I get in here and I turn my compost. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna do that right now. I've got to get this little handy tool over here, and it's going to allow me to turn my compost. So here's that little tool, and this compost is ready this year, but I need to turn it really quick. Wow, look at the worms in here. That is beautiful. And look at that. Wow. That is gorgeous. That is so gorgeous. I love it. Can't wait to use this compost. You see, folks, I already have my soil. This is a 45-gallon tub of soil. There's another 45-gallon of compost. Then I have a cold compost of 80 gallons over here. And I also have a 120-gallon compost bin I bought from Costco 2 years ago. So I have my own soil, my own food, my own fertilizer to feed my plants. And then I have my worm compost tea to feed my plants. I wanted to make sure that I didn't have to go and buy fertilizers anymore. I no longer feed my trees special fertilizers. I feed them compost. And if I want special fertilizers, well, I simply take the lemon peels, I chop them up finely, I go ahead, I boil them, I strain the liquid, and the liquid is at a pH where I can feed it back to the lemon tree. This is very important. Now, sometimes I may come out and I may use some baking soda. Baking soda is alkaline. Baking soda is a neutralizer. So if I find my tree is having some problem with discoloration and uptake of nutrients, I'll come out and I'll take baking soda and I'll mix it with some water and I'll spray down the entire tree, the foliage. And within about 3 days, not weeks, 3 days, my tree's leaves turn this bright green. And all of a sudden, they're healthy, producing new branches and leaves. This because if you're having some sort of imbalance in the molecular structure of your trees, such as the uptake of macronutrients, the uptake of micronutrients, then baking soda is going to come in and neutralize everything. And it's going to what? It's going to turn everything to a 7. 7, because it's alkaline, it's going to go neutral. So you're going to have a citrus tree that has a pH of 7. And at that point, once it gets to 7, it gets healthy, then you got to lower that pH for this particular plant because it loves a pH between 4.5 and 5.5. What do? You go back indoors and you get household distilled vinegar. Distilled vinegar. Now, I like to go and take about a full cup of vinegar and I mix it with 2 cups of purified water. Because remember, distilled water or distilled vinegar does not have any minerals. Purified water has minerals, and minerals are important for your plants because rain has minerals. That's why your garden looks wonderful after a heavy rain. Okay, so inside my rain barrels here, I got rain. So it's important that I mix that. I pour it around the outside perimeter of the trunk of the tree in the containers. Okay, and this is for your container grown trees, okay, citrus trees. And then you give it a week, always give it a week. And if you come back and do a soil test and you find out, okay, things are not right where they are. I went from a 7 to a 6 or, 5.7. Then you need to take another cup of vinegar with 2 cups of purified water, and you need to pour it until you get to between 4.5 and 5.5. That's how you take care of that, okay? Now, do understand that there's a lot of things that are going on in your garden at the same time. Your fruit trees and your citrus trees are not the same cultivar, so they've got to be treated differently. Your nut trees is a whole different species, okay? Then you got trees in here that we consider exotic trees, exotic fruit. And so they're going to be different too. Your herbs, your herbaceous herbs, your foods that are brassicas, you're gonna have to treat all these things differently. So it's very important that you make sure you understand 2 things in a garden. Make your own compost because compost also neutralizes the pH in the soil. Compost is normally between a 5.5 to a 6.8. So compost can be used literally in every aspect of your garden. Citrus trees, fruit trees, herbs, edibles, green leafies, they can be used in the same way. And that's what I love about it. So compost is essential. Compost matters. And as far as I'm concerned, not all compost is equal. Just because you're building compost does not mean that your compost has balanced nutrients. You guys got to understand that. You've got to understand that. Okay? Remember what I talked about earlier about Johnny's garden and my garden. We grow the same thing, but why is his garden foods lacking nutrition? You could a lot of people have made compost and their compost is either too high in nitrogen or it's lacking in phosphorus, or maybe the potassium is not where it should be. This is why making sure I do 3-to-1. Some people do 2-to-1. I do 3-to-1 ratio in my compost bin because I want people to understand that you want to make sure that if you have more carbon than nitrogen, it's always going to balance itself. Let me show you something. Come with me for a second. Come with me for a second. Shalom, Hebruski. Thanks for being here. Let me show you something. We're going to go to this one right here. This is a compost bin that I got from Costco 2 years ago. I actually got another one. I got to bring it down and put it together. These are the best things I ever had. I would have done this a long time ago, but I came about it by chance. Now, I do have a hookup. Let me see if I can grab my hookup. It should be somewhere in here. I got a lot of cardboard I have to shred. Where is, oh, I think it's up here. Here it is. Now, this item right here, I hook it right here and I can draw out my compost tea. Okay? Now, I'm going to take this off temporarily. You can see down here, you got all the egg cartons and different vegetable scraps. And, you know, your egg cartons are biodegradable. And there's a lot of greens and browns. 3-to-1 ratio. Okay? If you see all the gnats, this is healthy. This is good for your soil. Okay? You want to see all the gnats. Okay? Then I got cardboard boxes over here for all my eggs. And I put them in water. You see how they soak up? I put them in water because they break down just like that, so easy. This is very good for your compost and for your red wiggler worms that are going to help you break that down. Okay, so I constantly am bringing cardboard boxes and eggs. That's what all this is for. And then I take things like this. Give me 1 second. See if I can tear it off here. Give me just 1 second, people. Matter of fact, let me show you on camera. It's much better. Let me show you instead, okay? All right. Give me 1 second, and we're going to turn this around. And I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's go ahead and perform it right here. So typically what I do is I take my commercial shredder here, and we're going to get in here and try and get now, please take off all labels. You don't want labels, okay? And so that's what I tend to do. I simply turn this on. I shred all of my boxes. A lot of you put this into your recycle bin for the city, but the city turns around and they recycle this and they turn it into compost. They sell it back to a business like your nurseries, and the nurseries bag it up and they resell you your own waste. You're just throwing away money. You open it up and you get this beautiful shredded cardboard, carbon. That's what I do. And I don't miss a beat. I don't miss a beat. Okay. So, does that make sense to any of you? Are any of you still with me? Look at that sky out there for a second. Ain't that gorgeous? And let me put on my glasses because I can't see everything here. Okay, Shaul Yisrael. Looks like my son Hebruski is responding to you. This is not for your issues you got going on. If you are Yisrael, then you need to do all things decently and in order and email me. You simply emailed me, and don't ask for my email because I don't put it in open form. Take whatever your business is to the appropriate areas of contact, okay? But not here. Thank you very much, Hebruski, for taking care of that, okay? Sorry about that disruption, people, okay? So, let's see. I'm looking. Oh, got a lot of individuals here that I know of. But shalom, Sal, Courtney, Chris, Sister Christiana, BKD, Gabriel Lewis. Gabriel Lewis, my brother. How you doing? When am I going to talk to you by phone? We need to talk. That Ghost, Lovelace, Wanda, Mandisa. How are you doing, sister? Golden, Sister Miriam Yav Bethany. How are you, sister? Savannah, my son Hebruski, Erica. I'm just acknowledging you folks. Texas. Who else is in here? Shalom Control. We need to talk. Give me a call on your off day because I need you to model something for me. You remember what we talked about? Okay. Jay Williams. Sister Christy, how are you? Welcome. Let's see. Janet. Nelson, how are you? Good to have you here. Savannah Krantz, how are you? Welcome. I know I probably missed a few of you. Brina G. Ask Brenda. But we're going to go on. If I missed some of you, I apologize in advance. But I want to acknowledge you all for being here, okay? Courtney, I found you on Instagram. So happy I found your page. I've been wanting to start my own garden, but didn't know where to start. Well, you're in the right place. Now, you can learn gardening from many YouTubers on the Instagram and the YouTube platform. I am not the only gardener because I don't consider myself a gardener. I consider myself a sower. So, like I've stated, Sister Courtney, you can learn gardening from anyone. However, I would plead with you to focus, keep my channel in mind because I garden very different and I'm a spiritual gardener. So if you understand that, and you may not understand that, leave some room for understanding and you'll learn real quick. Sometimes I've heard from people who say, I didn't get it at first, Elder. I did not get what you were trying to say. But then something hit them and their whole life changed. Even their faith, their belief, and everything else. Very important to understand that. So thank you, Sister Courtney, for being here. Absolutely. Shalom, Growing August in Arts and Agriculture and Agency. First time being here, greeting. Absolutely. You know, I like to learn a little bit more about what you got going on. When I see people's screen name, sometimes their screen names are very intriguing. Shalom there, Eugenia Dennis. Thanks for being here, sister. Golden, Elder, I have to ask you to sell some of your fruits. I don't sell any of my fruits, okay? I don't sell any of my fruits, all right? You see, I give to the needy, but selling people something that is a basic essential that people need in order to survive, I want you to understand something. If I sell you fruit, essentially, I'm selling your kids food. I can't do that. You know how many kids we got in the country today? Teenagers that are homeless? How many kids go to bed hungry with empty stomachs? If you were here in the Sacramento region, when it comes to harvest season, I simply give you a huge basket of food, but I'm not going to sell it to you. Can't do that. Food should be a basic, essential sustenance that mankind should have available to him and her. The Creator put it here, so I'm not understanding why people are hungry. I've never understood that. Okay? Shalom and welcome, That Ghost BB. New here, happy to be here and found you right out the talking to my family about starting gardening in your content. Pulled me in. Hallelujah. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate your support. And if you have any questions, reach out. I don't know everything, people. Listen very clear. I don't know everything, but I know what I know. And what I know, you can know. That's how I see it. I mean, there's no other way around it. I'm not going to tell you something that I don't know. Okay? I garden based on biblical principles. That's how I learned to garden. I can teach you the same way. And not so much teach you, I can share it with you and help you get a better understanding, okay? The garden classes actually, tomorrow is what, Wednesday? Thursday, the gardening classes, you guys will get all the announcements. You'll be able to see it. I got a video that I'm uploading today, and you guys will be able to see this video, okay, and so forth. And I'll announce it on Instagram and whatnot. And you folks could join the gardening classes, okay? I know that not everybody's going to be able to join, and that's okay. But I will tell you one thing: we're at a time in our lives in this country where if you don't sow the proper seeds, you're going to reap something farther worse than what you could understand. Listen again. If you don't sow the proper seeds, you're going to end up reaping something far worse than you understand. So sow the proper seeds, okay? Let everything that proceeded from your mouth be for edification only, no corruption. And I can guarantee you, because he promised that we will reap what we sow. Now, I don't know about you, but I want to reap goodness. I want to reap edification. I want to reap life, and I want to speak life into you and to others. I want to speak life into my garden. I want to speak life into everything that I do so that I can manifest greatness. That's important. And a lot of us, we have to stop focusing on the government conspiracies and focus on the truth. And the truth is you. It's quite simple. Okay. Okay. Exactly. I told my husband, Miriam Yavelti, exactly. I told my husband our town should be planting fruit trees and parks instead of all shade trees. So hungry people can eat. It will never happen. It's the sad part. There was a time when this country, we're talking about Turtle Island, we had plenty of that. But it's been destroyed because it's all about producing homes and making money and people buy homes and whatnot. But we're not going to get all into that. But I agree with you completely, wholeheartedly. Anyways, folks, do me a favor. Tell everyone, put the word out that Elder Yehuda is back on his channel. And I want people to garden the right way. Remember this, I may not be the only person gardening on YouTube or social media. But I am the only person that's not afraid to give all praises and glory to my Father. You folks be well. Shalom. I got to come out here and put another brood box up. My bees are all over the place, and the last thing I want them to do is to swarm. They will swarm. I'm actually putting together another hive right now, a flow hive. But we'll get back to that. You folks be well. Shalom to all of you.